Buddy warned you about this part of love. The closer you get to someone, the more triggered you're going to feel. And here's why. Intimacy threatens your survival brain. When you start getting close to someone, the parts of you that were hurt before start scanning for danger. Not because your partner's unsafe, but because your nervous system is wired to remember pain. The fight with your ex, the silence from your parents, the betrayal you never saw coming. Your body doesn't forget. The body keeps the score, and it houses that score inside of your nervous system. This is why complicated conversations aren't usually heard with your ears, they're heard with your triggers. They're not processed with logic, they're processed through wounds and fear. So when closeness appears, your brain whispers, what if they leave? What if I'm not enough? What if I'm too much? What if I give my all and it happens again? I still hear that voice sometimes, and if I don't catch it, I'll retreat into survival, calling it boundaries and sabotaging something that was never unsafe, just unfamiliar. Because let's be honest, every time in your life that you disconnected from someone and fell apart, it was because you didn't feel safe being vulnerable. Ex-lovers, ex-spouses, old friends, even some of your family. You opened up and you got shame or judgment in return, and that disconnect, that became the wound. Now that wound is stored in your body, and it scans your environment in the present, trying to protect you from repeating the past. That's the body keeping the score. But before we go further, let's name what trauma actually is. Trauma is not the event. It's the story you told yourself about yourself afterwards. It wasn't just about what they said, it wasn't just about what they did. It was the belief that settled in your nervous system after the pain hit. I'm not safe, I'm not enough, I'm too much, I should have fought back harder. Everyone leaves, no one will ever understand me. That's the trauma. And when you get close to someone, those old trauma stories get exposed. The threat feels real again, and your body goes into defense mode. You retreat, you lash out, you numb, you sabotage. You survived, but you don't thrive. This video isn't about blaming your past, it's about trying to help you see your trauma for what it is, so you can stop being stuck in survival and start transcending the wound. And now let's talk about something that nobody wants to admit. All relationships are transactional. All. Every single one of them. People often push back when I say that, but I'm telling you right now, all relationships are conditional, and all relationships are transactions of value. You give value, they give value. Some of the best relationships in the world are quietly tracked with a ledger. Yes, I just said it, keeping score. Don't believe me? Go see the longest running study on Dr. John and Julie Gottman of the Gottman Institute. They found that thriving couples maintain something called the 5-to-1 ratio. 5 positive deposits for every 1 negative interaction. That's literally a relationship ledger. These are the logistics. Now, let me be clear. This is not a commentary on love. Love and relationships are not the same thing. That's a different video I've already done. If you want to deeper into that, go watch that. What I'm talking about here is how to build a thriving relationship. And I'm not asking you to deny that it's transactional. I'm asking you to transcend it. Because when you meet someone who can connect with you through vulnerability and they don't run, you now have the chance to experience something rare. Not just connection, healing, growth. A thriving relationship doesn't just feel good, it reveals you. It shows you the parts of you that you've been hiding from, the parts that still feel unworthy, ashamed, unseen, and that's not a problem, it's an invitation. So when two people can sit with each other's wounds and they neither run, they stop transacting and they start transcending and transforming. That's not performance, that's presence. And that's where a thriving relationship begins. Everything we've talked about so far is connection. The opposite of connection, disconnection. And disconnection happens the moment when someone shows up in your life, open, honest, vulnerable, and you punish that. You judge them, you shame them. You hold them to a standard based on your religion, your culture, your opinion of how people should act, how they shouldn't act, what's right, what's wrong. And every time that's happened to you, every time you felt disconnected, you didn't feel understood. You felt shame. I'm not enough. I'm too much. I don't fit in. If I show them this part of me, they'll leave. Even my family doesn't get me. I don't belong here. I'm the black sheep. Those moments, they are the birthplace of addiction. food, drugs, alcohol, relationship after relationship after relationship. They all have one thing in common: escapism. Because when shame takes the wheel, you start to believe, I need life to be the way I need to be in order to feel okay. And in order to truly show you how this works, let me be vulnerable with you for a moment. I coach people through this. I teach these principles. But that doesn't mean that I'm perfect. That doesn't mean that I don't struggle. It's hard for me to be vulnerable when a mirror gets held up to me that says, you're too much, you're not enough. That voice has been with me since I was a child. I was adopted, and deep down, a part of me said, they didn't want me, they gave me away. Every place I go, I have to prove I belong. My survival wound taught me, don't depend on anyone, because when you do, they'll hurt you, or leave, or let you down. So now as an adult, when someone gets close, not physically, but emotionally close, that wound starts speaking. It says, run. Sabotage it before they do. They'll hurt you like the others. And if I listen to that voice, I will destroy every relationship that could actually heal me. Because closeness for me feels like danger. This is where the higher self steps in. This is where awareness matters, because I am not that voice. I am the one that hears it. That's my crew talking. That's my villagers doing their job, trying to keep me safe. But I'm the captain of the ship. I know my crew. I know my boat. I know their strengths. I know where the boat's weak. So when the storm comes, and it will, I don't panic. I don't abandon ship. I don't retreat into isolation. I shift the sails. I lean into the starboard side, the open side, the side that says stay the course. And I can already hear the pushback. Well, what if I stay open and my boat capsizes? Then it does, and I'll rebuild. Because I've been down the road of closing, I know what lives there: isolation and pain. But staying open, even through heartbreak, is what allows me to sail forward toward connection, toward meaning, toward real healing. Because the only way I don't get there is if I stop sailing altogether. And if you do, if you really do, you won't find just a thriving relationship, you'll find freedom. Because the destination was never about connection with another. The destination is stillness. From stillness, true connection flows. Without grasping, without performing, without fear of the outcome. And if your boat capsizes, let it. Let it all fall apart. Let go completely. Because what's left is who you really are. Not the version of you trying to be chosen. Not the one trying to be perfect or protected, but the quiet, grounded self that no longer needs to chase peace. Because it is peace. That's where we're sailing toward. And the only way to get there is to keep the sails open, even when it's scary. Especially when it's scary. That's the whole form of intimacy. Into me you see. People will show you a mirror back to yourself. That's how you get a thriving relationship. It's how you come home.